People used to treat me like I was nothing, an elderly silhouette drifting through a world that often forgot my name. As I stepped into the sterile police station, the familiar warmth of my faded purple blouse, a cherished gift from my son, offered little solace against the cold scrutiny of the officers around me. The comforting scent of lavender soap clashed with the harsh reality of the environment, which echoed with the weight of unspoken prejudices. All I wanted was to see my son, Sheriff Jordan Carter. But Deputy Victor Cargo, with his condescending glare and mocking tone, made it painfully clear that I was not worthy of respect. When he poured water over me, a wave of humiliation crashed down, and the silence of onlookers felt like a shroud covering my dignity. In that moment, I was stripped bare of humanity, left gasping for some semblance of recognition. Then, Jordan arrived, and with a look of pure fury, he suspended Cargo, reclaiming my dignity as fiercely as he could. That was the beginning of a journey fraught with struggles. Jordan's decision to dig deeper into the corrupt police department unveiled a dark web of systemic racism that extended far beyond Cargill's cruelty. While enduring threats against my safety, I wondered if I should reveal the fear gnawing at my resolve or stand strong for my son. Days later, retired Officer Frank leaked the video, thrusting our ordeal into the public eye. Out of my moment of shame bloomed a movement, sparking conversations about respect and justice. As I reflect on it all now, I realize what happened to me shouldn't happen to anyone, but I'm glad it did. My suffering ignited a fire for change, bearing witness to the transformative power of one voice. The police station felt cold and sterile, a stark contrast to the lavender scent lingering on Mariah's faded purple blouse, a gift from her son. As she approached the reception desk, Deputy Victor Cargill stood there, arms crossed, a sneer melting across his face. "Can I help you, Grandma?" His voice dripped with condescension. Mariah straightened, suppressing her irritation. "I'm here to see my son, Jordan Carter." "Corrections, Sheriff Jordan? You mean Sheriff Chocolate Thunder?" He laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the sparse room. Mariah's heart sank. She could feel the eyes of others boring into her, an invisible weight pressing down. As if to punctuate his mockery, Cargill suddenly picked up a cup of water from the desk and splashed it all over her blouse. "There you go, sweetheart. That should cool you off." Fingers stopped, and for a moment only the sound of Mariah's shallow breath filled the air. She stood frozen, cheeks flushed with humiliation, feeling dehumanized as bystanders turned their gaze away, unwilling to help. Just then, Jordan entered. His eyes widened in horror as he caught sight of his mother. "What the hell is going on here?" His voice thundered through the silence, the anger palpable. Cargill sneered, "Just teaching your mama some respect." "Oli." Jordan stepped forward, his body tense. "You're suspended effective immediately." As Cargill scowled, Mariah felt an ache deep within, a mix of shame and outrage. The moment felt like a fracture in time. She was no longer just a mother waiting for her son, but a woman confronting a world that belittled her very existence. The chill of the police station pressed against her skin, and the comforting scent of lavender soap felt strangely foreign amidst the sterile walls. Granny May clutched the faded purple blouse her son had gifted her, a reminder of warmth in this cold fortress of authority. "I just want to see Jordan," she said, her voice trembling but hopeful. Deputy Victor Cargo leaned against the counter, arms crossed, eyes glinting with disdain. "What do you want, old lady?" His tone dripped with condescension, the derision palpable. The room fell silent, the bystanders watching with bated breath as shame flooded May's cheeks. "You think you can just wander in here?" he sneered, before abruptly splashing his cup of water over her. Time froze. The coldness of the liquid mingled with the heat of her burning humiliation. She felt dehumanized, exposed, longing for the ground to swallow her whole. But just then the door swung open and there was Jordan, his sheriff's badge gleaming like a shield. Anger blazed in his eyes as he marched forward, compelling and fierce, ready to defend his mother. "What's going on here?" he demanded, body tense, full of raw, protective energy. May looked up, a flicker of hope igniting, but the weight of the world pressed down on her weary shoulders. As Cargill's smirk faded under Jordan's scrutiny, she felt a well of frustration swell within her, quietly simmering, ready to overflow. Tashi squeezed her eyes shut. yearning for the moment of recognition, the moment when Jordan would see her suffering, and more importantly, when she would see her worth too. The elderly woman stood straighter as she walked into the precinct, the faded purple fabric of her blouse whispering of resilience. The scent of lavender soap lingered in her mind, a stark contrast to the chill in the air. "I want to see my son, Sheriff Jordan Carter," she announced, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. Deputy Victor Cargill scoffed, leaning against the counter with a sneer. "You think he's going to be interested in you? You're just a—" He stopped short as she met his eyes, an ember of defiance igniting within her. "You underestimated me," she said softly. "I'm not here to be humiliated." The words slipped out with a newfound clarity, stronger than she'd expected. Mellier's silence enveloped them, but she sensed something change, a flicker of acknowledgement in the air. When Jordan burst in, her heart swelled. "Mom," he breathed, disbelief evident in his voice. Seeing the remnants of the water cascading down her clothes sparked an inferno of anger in him. He turned to Cargill, his voice low yet commanding. "You're suspended." Engulfed for her, she looked back at Cargill. "You'll hear from us again," she asserted, her tone unwavering. The thrill of reclaiming her dignity rippled through her, a small yet meaningful victory. Days later, as Jordan rallied the community, holding meetings, gathering testimonies, she found herself stepping forward, sharing her truth. "We deserve justice," she declared at a gathering, her voice steady. The support felt palpable, echoing in the hearts of the crowd. With every small act of defiance, she fortified her spirit. The world was watching, and she was no longer a passive bystander. "This isn't over," she whispered to herself, the fire of resistance blazing bright. The tension in the police station was palpable as the elderly woman, Ms. Williams, stepped inside, her faded purple blouse a comforting reminder of her son's love. The lavender soap lingered in the air, masking the sterile, cold environment. She clutched a small handbag, determined yet visibly anxious. Deputy Victor Cargill loomed nearby, his demeanor dripping with condescension. "Lost your way, Grandma?" he sneered, his voice loud enough for others to hear. The words stung, and Ms. Williams felt her cheeks burn with humiliation. In a swift motion, Cargill poured a glass of water over her, the liquid splattering across her frail frame. Gasps echoed in the stark room. She stood frozen, the laughter of onlookers echoing in her ears, while Cargill basked in his twisted triumph. Just then, Jordan Carter, her son, arrived. The door swung open, and he caught sight of the degradation that had unfolded before him. Rage ignited within him, but he kept his composure. "You'll answer for this," Jordan stated, his voice measured yet steely. He suspended Cargill on the spot, and quiet satisfaction filled Miss Williams as she saw her son step between her and the man who had humiliated her. Days passed, and a video of the incident leaked online, sparking outrage and drawing the community together. Miss Williams watched from her home as old friends began to rally around her son. When Jordan called for a federal audit of the department, the tide began to shift. Officers, led by a remorseful Captain Rebecca, began to speak the truth about the culture of prejudice. In a decisive meeting, Rebecca stood before the committee, her voice shaking but resolute. "We have failed the community," she admitted. Cargill's smug facade crumbled as the implications of his actions bore down on him. The room was thick with anticipation, and he could no longer hide. As community members rallied together, supporting Miss Williams and each other, she felt a sense of pride bloom within her. The shadows of her humiliation began to dissipate, replaced by a profound realization. Her son had indeed elevated their struggle into a movement. In that public testimony, Cargill was sidelined, his image tarnished, while Ms. Williams stood beside her son, the warmth of community wrapping around them like a shield. As I sit in the quiet of my living room, the weight of that day lingers in my mind. I think of the moment Deputy Cargill poured water over me, an act meant to belittle, to erase my dignity. But it was also a spark that ignited a fire in my son, Jordan, and in our community. When I saw him rise up, shielding me from further shame, I realized that even in moments of vulnerability, there can be strength. The water he poured did not wash away my worth. It revealed the darkness that still clings to our society. Taya now. I reflect on all that followed. The investigations, the support, the voices that emerged in solidarity. Every story shared, every confrontation faced, reminds me that we are all capable of more than we know. So I ask you, do you think I went too far? What would you have done in my place? Have you ever faced someone treating you with such disregard? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Together, let's engage in this vital conversation about justice, respect, and our shared responsibility to one another. Your voice matters.